Hi all, thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Sabrina Joseph. I'm the Employee Support Supervisor, and hosting with me is Luke, who is also an Employee Support Supervisor. Today's webinar will be based on the IR35 fee payer, and Luke will be talking through all the information with you. If you do have questions, do let us know. I'll hand over to you now, Luke. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina, and a good afternoon and warm welcome to today's webinar. So as Sabrina mentioned, today's webinar is going to be going through the IR35 fee payer and just an introduction to Giant. So for today's webinar overview, we're going to be looking at the contractual relationship, getting paid through Giant, accessing your remittances, tax, invoicing, VAT and expenses, pension and P60, contacting us, and last of all, a summary. So to the first point in relation to today's webinar, the contractual relationship. So how does the actual contractual relationship work? So if your hirer decides that you're caught by IR35, they may still allow you to trade through your limited company, providing appropriate employer and employee taxes are deducted at source. So the company that pays your limited company is known as a fee payer, or in this case, Giant will become the fee payer in the chain. So Giant will enter a new contract with your limited company at a lower rate, and this enables us as the fee payer to deduct our margin, employer's national insurance, and also the apprenticeship levy. So we will deduct PAYE tax from the contract before paying the net amount to your limited company. So these deductions are governed by the off-payroll working legislation. And also just to let you know, keeping in mind that your limited company allows you to use it for both inside and also outside IR35 assignments. So getting paid and also like how often as well. So from a payment perspective, it's important that you always submit your timesheets directly to your agency by the set deadline in place. So your agency will send Giant your timesheet information electronically. This is known as a DX or a data exchange. So you don't have to do that. The only thing you'll have to do is submit your timesheets. So Giant will pay your limited company the next working day via a faster payment. So you don't have to wait the normal 2 to 3 days in relation to receiving your pay. We'll pay your company in line with the frequency that your agency pays us. A useful tip that we kind of get a lot of questions around is setting up SMS payroll alerts. So this is something you can do on your Giant portal. So when you go into your Giant portal, you go to your data, that will take you to another subsection, and you should be able to see alerts as one of the subsections. If you click into there, you can then set these up yourself. And again, you can like find out how much you're going to get paid, the day of payment, has your timesheets been accepted, etc. And then also, last of all, in relation to pay, we will always provide you a remittance each time you're paid, and this will provide a useful breakdown, which I'll kind of go into a little bit later. So first of all, like accessing your remittance. So we do get a lot of questions in relation to this. So we thought it would be very useful to provide this sort of information to yourself. So a step-by-step guide is shown here. So for example, step 1, as mentioned, when you first log into your portal, you're going to be kind of greeted with different subsections. One of these is going to be your data. If you click into there, just as you can see on like the top picture, it will be greeted with some further options. So in this case, like remittance alerts, company details, etc. So when you're wanting to view your remittance, if you click on the remittance tab, this will then take you down to the last picture at the bottom, which will show you all of your remittances that have been generated through payroll with Giant. If you wanted to get a little bit more information around this, if you click the date that's associated with any remittance on your Giant portal, this is a hyperlink, and that will take you to show the full breakdown of that particular remittance. So as mentioned, once you have clicked into your remittance and you wanted to view this in full, on the right-hand side, this is what you're going to see. So again, in relation to your remittance, it will provide you all of the breakdowns that are required and also are deducted as well. So for example, it will show you the weekending period that you're paid for. It will show you the deductions that are applied to, for example, tax and national insurance. If VAT is applicable, again, that will show you that level of detail on there. And again, at the very bottom, it will show you your net total and your net payable as well. And also that amount will be going into your limited company in relation to the payments. And again, just to make you aware, obviously these are always done via a faster payment. So you're paid on the same day based upon when the remittance is generated as well on your Giant portal. So tax. So when you're initially set up through this particular IR35 engagement, so you are going to be deducted initially on a BR or a basic rate tax code of 20%. So within approximately around about 8 weeks or so, HMRC may send us an updated tax code to use. Of course, if you believe that your tax code still may be incorrect after those 8 weeks, or even after like a new tax year, bear in mind the new tax year is coming up as of tomorrow, you can contact HMRC directly to ask in relation to your tax code, and they may send us something called a P6. That P6 will have any useful information in relation to a new tax code, and Giant will then apply that to your record. More of like an FYI, Giant cannot contact HMRC directly on your behalf. This is due to GDPR reasons, so would highly recommend you, obviously as yourself, or even maybe your accountant, to contact HMRC if you do believe your tax code may be incorrect. In relation to paying to another individual or yourself, we cannot do that. We can only make the payment in respect to yourself. And again, we would only pay into your limited company's business bank account. So invoicing VAT and expenses. So I kind of mentioned it earlier, but you don't need to raise any invoices to Giant. This is obviously to keep the administration to a minimum, but the only thing that you would need to do is submit a timesheet to your agency. Because Giant are self-billing, we will provide that invoice, or the self-billing invoice, or a remittance. And again, that would act as all the information you require for your payroll. And again, that will be available, as previously mentioned, on your Giant portal. VAT, so if applicable, VAT is charged by you on the new contract rate with Giant. So we'll issue your company a self-bill invoice, as previously mentioned. And again, this will highlight any applicable VAT that might be on there. We do get a few questions in relation to VAT. So regarding to backdating, just to make you aware, we cannot backdate VAT. So it's really important that if you want VAT to be applied, you provide this as soon as possible, or through like your onboarding stage. That way, also we can then apply everything to your account, and obviously then VAT can be provided at that point. If you do provide VAT maybe slightly later on, VAT will only apply from the date you provided us onwards. And again, as mentioned, we cannot backdate anything previously to that. With expenses, so if the agency/client agree to pay your billable expenses, these will be paid to Giant, and we'll pay them directly to your limited company. And again, this is in the same payroll as your time worked. If you have like business expenses purchased by your limited company that you want to like process to reduce your tax liabilities, this is something you would have to liaise with your accountant about. So pension and P60s. So can Giant make pension contributions for yourself? So in relation to that, no. So HMRC state that pension contributions are not an item to be processed by the fee payer, or Giant acting as the fee payer. So as a director of your company, the pension responsibilities remain with yourself and your PSC or your limited company. In relation to a P60, we will provide you a P60 after the end of the tax year. So with regards to the P60, the next available one for this particular tax year will be available at the end of May 2022. So the P60 will include the deemed employment payment, as well as tax and national insurance contributions that are paid on this. So contacting us. So there is a few different ways you can get in contact with Giant throughout your assignment with us. So the first method you can contact us through is your feedback. So in relation to that, when you go into your portal and you wish to provide us any feedback, which is kind of demonstrated on the right-hand side, if you go to feedback, then add feedback, as mentioned, this will take you to the print screen on the right-hand side where it will show you like a subject and also like a message, which will be like the main body. Once you provide us that information, then a member of our team will be able to get back in contact with yourself and then provide you any answers to any of the questions you may have. Alternatively, you can get in contact with us through live chat. So if you are busy kind of on the go and you're just wanting a quick kind of like answer to your question, then I would highly recommend live chat. The turnaround time for any live chats to be responded to is around 15 seconds as well. So as mentioned, it's a great use to have if you're kind of like busy and on the go as well. So just a summary for today's webinar, and just to recap. So I went through the contract for services with Giant based upon this particular engagement. Payments are 100% compliant with IR35 off payroll legislation. There's no need to raise invoices yourself as Giant are self-billing. So the only thing you would have to do is just submit your timesheets to your agency. We pay the next day via a faster payment. Remittances with a breakdown are available on your portal. All payments made to your business bank account. Again, you can set up to receive SMS of payroll alerts if you wish to do so. Again, if applicable, VAT is applied on the new contract rate with Giant. You can contact us using the feedback function by your portal, or again, you can use the live chat service if you wish to. And it's just a compliant solution that allows you to keep your limited company for both inside and outside IR35 assignments. So I just want to say thank you so much for listening to today's webinar. Of course, if you do have any questions, as mentioned, please do get in contact with us and we'll be happy to further assist. Once the webinar has come to an end, there is an opportunity to provide some feedback to us. We'd highly appreciate that if you could maybe take a couple of minutes out of your own time just to provide any feedback. It allows us to obviously review your feedback, and obviously allows us to then further improve on our webinars for the future. But again, thank you so much for listening, and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.